Ready? Welcome everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the June 19th, 2018 meeting. Official time 6:01. This time I need approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. It's our pleasure tonight for the invocation pledge is Pastor Gary Thomas of Elam Baptist Church.
God does answer prayers. A few minutes ago, I was in North Macon, so there's no law in here, is there? Very good, thank you. Let's pray. Just in case, all right? Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for all that you do for us. Father, we love you with all of our hearts, and we feel your grace and your mercy every day. I thank you for being able to be here tonight and share as we come to a time of business to conduct for our county. I thank you for the men and women who do this business and who lead us and who take care of our needs and try to work out everything as best they can. Thank you for all the constituents and for all of us who live here. It's great to live in a county like Jones and be a part of a town like Gray. Lord, I just pray that you would help all of us in gratitude that we might love our neighbors, love you, and serve one another. I pray for the business to be conducted tonight in a way that would bring honor and glory to you and which would serve our needs and your purpose in our lives. Thank you again for blessing us and for being with us. And I pray your blessings upon this meeting, for I ask that in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We start with our board appointments. Our first board appointment is a countywide zoning appeals and adjustment board appointment to complete a 5-year term ending March 15th, 2019. I want to start off by saying I appreciate we have had a lot of response to our request for applications and all for appointments. It's nice to see the citizens coming forward and wanting to be a part of the county's functions. I didn't realize that I had another gentleman wanting to serve countywide on the Board of Appeals. I had already asked a young lady, Commissioner Robinson, I think you're in District 3. Commissioner Robinson would love for you to, if Mr. Brown's here, or you here tonight, Mr. Brown? If not, Commissioner Robinson, he'd love to talk with him about maybe serving on another appointment because we do have several board openings coming available. But at this time, I would like for the board to consider Ms. Chan Andrews for our countywide appointment for this position. I had talked with Ms. Chan and she said that she would like to help and serve and come forward, and I'd like the board to consider her for the countywide position.
Motion to approve.
Your motion approved?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much, Ms. Andrews. We'll go forward. Our District 3 Zoning Appeals and Adjustment Board appointment to complete a 5-year term ending March 15, 2020. Commissioner Robinson, I think you had a...
Yes, sir. We got an application from Mrs. Teresa Chambers, and I would make a motion that we approve Ms. Chambers.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Tonight we go to the consent agenda approval for minutes. We had the work session on June 5th, 2018 at 5 o'clock, and then we had the first Tuesday, June 5th, 2018. Y'all had an opportunity to review the minutes. If so, I need a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. Discussion. If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Visitors tonight. We have Mr. John McGee. Would you like to come forward? Mr. John McGee has a petition to pave Childs Road. You're on our agenda tonight.
How you guys doing?
Just
Hi.
fine. You didn't know you had to come forward and speak, did you?
Sir?
You didn't know you had to get to come forward and speak,
I
did you?
had no idea. So I'm a little nervous now, but
You're
thank you
fine.
for the invite, Mr. Reisner. So I was chosen as a spokesperson on behalf of this petition of the residents of Childs Road, not because I'm the best speaker, but because everybody else has kids my age and they have obligations therein. So Childs Road is about 2.5 to 3 miles in length, and the particular portion of Childs Road that we're talking about to petition to pave is between Highway 49 and Highway 18, and we get a lot of bypass traffic, obviously for reasons of cutting off 3 to 4 miles of asphalt for people to save 2 to 3 minutes of travel time. And being a dirt road, we get a lot of dust, we get a lot of people in the ditches, we get a lot of stuff down in the embankments. If you're passing and people are flying down, my fiance's actually been in the embankment where I had to pull her out. Rainy conditions make the clay slippery. Obviously the silt rises. I mean, those are pretty much our chief complaints: speed, air pollution, safety.
I'm gonna turn up. Is your microphone on the green light on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I'm gonna make sure everybody can hear because we're being on TV.
Okay. All right.
You didn't know that either, did you?
No. Get worse and worse.
Commissioner Robinson, this is your district.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank you for the petition. And we are in the process of working through a way to list roads and their priorities. And I would ask our county administrator to speak on that for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we've talked about this kind of off and on, the roads list and different lists that were out there and that kind of thing. So what I've tried to do is consolidate down into a single document a list of road projects. Some are resurfacing, some are paving projects, and tried to go back through all the files. A number of these things have been out there for a number of years, where just this process was started, and we've gotten some easements and things right away deeded over to us, and so I think it might be a good time for us to schedule a work session to kind of go over that list and just get some feedback from the board on if you like the format of it and that kind of thing before we before you consider adopting that as the official road project list. We can certainly include Childs Road and the others where we've gotten petitions on that list and for the board to consider. So that might be my suggestion at this point, would be to schedule a work session where we kind of take a look at what I have so far and just get some additional guidance from the board on how to move forward with that.
Sure. And we'll have your contact and your neighbors also at that time, so we can, because I know there's several, in the past, there's been requirements that were needed in order to do that, land acquisition,
Yes, sir.
different areas like that.
Is a unanimous thing? I know there's 13 residents on that stretch, and I got signatures from 10 on the petition, but.
Right.
Yes, sir. There's on the petition, you have approximately 8 or 10, but
Okay.
there's also there's a total of 26 property owners
Right.
on that road. So, I mean, when we get everything ironed out with our work session, we'll know where we stand, hopefully with, all the roads that are being considered.
Okay. Sounds like a game
Well,
plan.
thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Moving on to visitors, we have a Stephanie Kendrigan from Southern Natural Gas. She has a $5,000 donation for EMA. Graham, you want to come forward and introduce the young lady?
Gene Maddox. This is also Gene Maddox. He also serves this area as far as the gas pipes through our county. So it's all yours.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. My name is Stephanie Kendrigan. I'm the Director of Public Affairs for Kinder Morgan. We are the largest energy infrastructure company in the United States, and we operate the Southern Natural Gas system here in the state of Georgia. We've actually been in Georgia for going on 90 years next year. We have been in this community since 1953, so 65 years now. One of our mottos at Kinder Morgan company-wide is it's always people first, safety always. And so we love to partner with our emergency responders all over the United States and do these donations. And we were delighted to partner with Jones County on this particular one for $5,000 that you're going to be using to purchase some equipment for the fire department. And then a special thanks also to State Senator Burt Jones. I know he helped get us the initial introduction. I know he couldn't be here tonight, but
Yeah.
we are appreciative of him as well. So thank you so much for having us.
And we thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Again, thank you very much. We move on to our new business tonight. We have payroll documentation, according to Jerry Bridges. Mr. Bridges, you here?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to come forward? I'm sorry. I didn't see you hiding in the back. You slipped in on me. I didn't see you.
Is that where Tommy gets his gas?
I'm sorry.
Is that where Tommy gets his gas? What you want?
Oh, you're on the docket tonight for payroll documentation. You want to address the board about your,
No, y'all call me.
Mr. Resnick?
Somebody sent us a letter that says, to whom it may concern. Did you send that letter?
No, sir.
They sent the letter. Came on headlines, Jones County Commissioners, said to whom it may concern.
All right, well, that would be on, we're having to account for all of our, I think we had a discussion and we had to account for expenditures.
Okay.
And to whom it may concern would have been, I guess, whoever in your office that would be handling that documentation.
You're getting documentation every time. I'm waiting.
So, Mr. Chairman, just to provide the board some background for the board and the audience, we had an issue with a deputy coroner who was appointed, but who was for whatever reason not put into our payroll system. She was sworn in, I guess, as a deputy coroner. The coroner's office submitted a payroll request for a number of calls that deputy coroner went on, and so we had some discussions between myself, members of the coroner's office, our finance staff, and human resources about how to handle that situation. As we got to looking into that, some of the documentation that was produced contained records showing which deputy coroner had attended which call, and actually noted on the documentation was a note from one of the deputy coroners that said, I put down that I ran these calls. They were actually run by another deputy coroner. And so obviously that was some cause for concern that we had paid someone who hadn't in fact run the call. And so related to that, we had a situation where payment was issued to one of the deputy coroners for some of those calls. We tried to reverse the payroll direct deposit. We were able to reverse it. We thought we had done that successfully, but later found out that the deputy coroner had gone to her bank and said, no, that was a legitimate deposit, and was able to access those funds. Subsequent to that, we had several meetings about her needing to be paid that money when in fact she had already been paid the money. So as a result of those two incidents, we and after discussion with the board, we approached the coroner's office and said, because of these things, we're going to require some additional documentation on the calls so that we can verify which individual ran these calls, so that we can ensure that we're making payment to the proper person. So that's kind of some of the background. The response that we got was, no, this is not, we're not going to provide any additional documentation. Why are you asking us to do that? We recounted those stories, and we were told, don't worry, that won't happen again. And so that kind of brings us to the present time. The coroner came by my office a couple weeks ago and said that they weren't going to provide any additional documentation. I said, well, perhaps that's
Tell him what kind of documentation. Tell him what kind that you requested.
So
Demand it, really, demand it.
So I think we've asked for death certificates or coroner's report that would indicate which deputy coroner actually ran the call. And so when the coroner came by a couple weeks ago, he expressed an interest in coming before the board and addressing this with you. And so that brings us to kind of where we are tonight.
And I think the main issue, if I'm not wrong, we're having an audit issue when we go through our audit, not having the accountability on these invoices and whatnot, and that's the main reason for these.
Okay, I've called several of my coroners in this area. Leon Jones runs 800 calls a year.
Mm-hmm.
He signs over 600 death certificates. He doesn't make every one of those calls. If anybody out here has got anybody that's been under hospice,
Mm-hmm.
nurse comes out and pronounces them dead, doctor signs the death certificate. You go in the medical center, hospitalist pronounce you dead.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor signs the death certificate, not that doctor. You go in the emergency room, they can't sign the death certificate. So if I got a coroner and they get off on Thursday morning, don't come back till Tuesday, and I got somebody who wants a death certificate, and we got all the information, then I give it to them. But on every call that we have given since 1992, there's a date out there, a person's name, and a coroner who worked it.
Sure.
Now, we haven't stolen one thing from this county, and I dare him to prove that, what he said.
We're not accusing anybody.
Whoa, wait a minute. When I got that letter to whom it may concern,
Sure.
it didn't come to the coroner's office. Now, what would you do if you got a letter up here?
Sir, I get hundreds of letters.
So you think it'd be for the chairman?
Right, I get hundreds of letters, but the whole reason for this is the county has got to have accountability on the
That's
invoices we pay.
We're giving you accountability. We're giving you accountability just like every other coroner is.
Sure. Can I, Ms. Levita, what actually are you needing for the audit? Because I think this was a flag on our audit, and that was one of the flags is we've got to be able to have accountability with our audit team. And the last thing we want to do is have a hit on our audit. What actually would you need?
I need something definitely stating who was the deputy coroner. Just like county administrator stated, we have documentation from the deputy coroner stated that some calls were made that were not actually for him. And he received the pay from somebody else. So he really didn't do the calls, but we paid him because we had no idea. We went on the assumption that he did the call. So that led to this point here, that we need some actual documentation that's stating who is the deputy coroner, who did the body. I mean, I don't know if it's a coroner's report. I don't know what it should be.
You just need an accurate report.
Death certificate, you'll get one. I can't give one because that's privileged information.
Okay, but we just need an accurate report.
It's more than a death certificate.
Sure.
It has names in there, things in there that the general public that doesn't need to know.
Sure.
And I can guarantee you, give it to one person, and 50 people will know it before you walk out of here.
Okay. What can you supply us?
We're supplying the date they went, the person who died,
Mm-hmm.
and the coroner who went on that call.
Okay, but I think where it's hit in the past is having that confusion of one coroner showing that he did the call and then having a note that another
That should
coroner.
have been brought to my attention then.
Right.
Should have been brought to my attention then.
Right.
what happened was the new deputy came on. She went on like 35 calls before she got paid.
Right. Anybody else like to chime in?
Now, would you want to be like that?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Mr. Ritter, just from a business practice, I can't have two employees where I pay one and that person pays the other person.
We don't do that.
That's what happened here.
It did.
That's exactly what the main issue is.
Okay, what deputy went on the call?
Matt Jarrett, did it.
Matt signed them all?
Yeah, MJ signed
Okay.
it. Then he also know that he took the money and then paid her out of it.
Right.
So that's a tax issue as well, because he
That's
actually.
right. Well, I didn't know that. See, that's the first time I checked.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure
Sure.
that that's clear, because when you said cheat and steal, nobody's talking about that.
Yeah.
They just want to make sure the right person's getting paid, because that's also a tax issue that your organization
Oh, yeah.
could have to
Another thing
deal with.
too is when they go on that call, when they start up there at the very top, the computer will not let them change anything down bottom.
Okay, so maybe that whoever goes out on the call is the person who should be entering into the computer as
Well,
well.
I've had 5 people on a call before, but they have one paid.
Okay. That sounds like an internal issue that we probably need to let him work out. But
Well,
what
that
should-
person, that person that's on there should have been the person who's on call.
right, and you need a policy that says no person can receive pay and then pay somebody else out of their own pocket.
That's right. That's right.
That's definitely not legal.
Yeah.
Sure. Commissioner Robinson? Are you through, Ms. Martin?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask Mr. Child if that is right, that coroner reports and death certificates are not public information.
It's my understanding they are, Jerry, but I mean, you may know different. I mean, I've never had any trouble getting a copy.
If you want them, you can go get them, but you have to be part of the family. But we're not going to supply. We're not going to supply them because, first of all, it's going to cost $25. Are you going to pay us $25 every time we get a death certificate? I mean, if I get an extra one from a funeral home and I bury somebody, I pay the extra $25, put one in my file, but then nobody else gets it.
Jerry, what do you suggest? And again, nobody's accusing anyone of stealing money, but as you've heard, we're having a problem with our auditors. What do you suggest?
I suggest it should have been brought to me to start with. This could have been handled.
Are you saying tonight is the first time you knew about
Yes,
this?
sir.
Well, your people in your office have known about it for months and months and months, and they've been
Well,
talking about it.
I heard about
and
it.
are you saying they didn't come back and
I
talk to
heard
you about
about
it?
35 calls, and she was having problems getting her calls. Well, I can't help it because I've been out 3 months with my wife in Mayo Clinic.
And everybody's
I can't help that,
genuinely
Frank.
and truly sorry about that. But we are having problems with our auditors and our audit. Our financial integrity as a county is being brought into question. That we had this happen on our watch.
Yeah.
And that's what Ms. Craig feels so concerned.
Well, see, I've used the same thing since 1992. If you go back to 1992, you won't find a record of any coroner calls, period. There weren't any. Matter of fact, the only thing I had to buy was the radio. I had to buy it myself. And then we started making records ourselves. But now we're up with Georgia Coroner Association, Secretary of State's office.
Anybody else on the board? Any comments or questions?
Well, you have a chief deputy, and I find it incredible that he's been in all these meetings and discussions and with county employees and with our attorney, and you didn't have a clue about any of it.
When did he attend a meeting with y'all?
I think the first time Jason was back 3 or 4 months ago at least.
Yeah.
And several since then. And he
I'd like to know the dates.
well, we
I
need
mean,
to get a date, we'll be sure.
if it's just here, I can't speak for that because I've been in Jacksonville.
Sure.
But I can't. I'll handle it.
Yeah. Mr. Bridges, all we're asking for going forward is we just have to have accountability so that
Well, what we'll do
finance
is make sure that the one that signs there, is the one that's going to call.
Sure. And that's all we need.
Like when the airplane crashed out there, if 4 people got killed, there were five coroner's office out there, and 2 people got paid.
And that's what we do. We just got to have some accurate accountability so that our finance can, we can go through.
Yeah, I don't like payroll stuff, right?
Sure.
We'll do that.
Well, we definitely appreciate it. Like I said,
Yeah.
we're looking forward to getting this straightened out and going down the
But
road.
now, I'm telling you, like sometimes I've got to sign them
Sure.
because on the death certificate, if I've got cause of death, I've got to sign it within 72 hours. It says on death certificate.
Sure.
So if it happens like on a Thursday and we can't get it out,
Right.
but then I'll also document down there, this person gets paid, I went on the call.
Sure. That's, we just need
Then
to
that'll cover everybody.
Yep. That should.
But everyone who sent the letter, please let them know that I'm the coroner,
Okay.
Jones County coroner. Okay?
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Going on with our new business night, number 2, we got declare real property surplus and authorize an auction. Mr. Risner, I think you're handling this for Mr. Jackson tonight.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. In your packets there, you've got a list of about 30 parcels that were acquired as a result of not paying taxes. And I've worked with the tax commissioner on this, and these properties are ready to be auctioned off. And we've just kind of had a preliminary conversation with LW Benton. They've done some of this kind of stuff for other jurisdictions, and so our thought would be to use them to auction off these parcels. And so my recommendation to you tonight would be to declare these parcels surplus and authorize an auction.
Now I have clear titles to fill them.
Yes, I think Brian has been through all the processes to be able to have title. There's some legal work that has to be done on the back end to transfer it to the purchaser of it, and I'll get with Frank on that. But yeah, these are all the appropriate steps have been taken to ready them for auction.
Chairman, make a motion, we move forward with putting these parcels on auction.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All right. Well, quick discussion. And that it will be it's an absolute auction. Is that my understanding?
I think that would probably be my suggestion. Would be just to they're not generating any money for us right now, so the main thing is to get them back in the hands of taxpayers that'll pay taxes on the parcels.
Kershaw, would we need to reflect that as an absolute auction through the surplus?
I think we should certainly verify that with Mr. Jackson.
Sure.
But I think that's what it should be.
Sure. You want to
Chairman, I'll amend my motion to include an absolute auction for the properties.
We got an amended motion. We got an amended second. All right. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that on a monthly basis, as these come up, let Brian do the same thing so we can get them back on the tax roll.
Sure. I'd love to see these back on the tax roll.
Agreed.
Any more discussion? None. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Move on to 3 is declare vehicles and equipment surplus and authorize auction. Mr. Lowe, you gonna handle this one?
How y'all doing tonight?
Just fine.
Yes, we got a bunch of, I think y'all got a copy of this, of the surplus. The Ram X, the 200 John Deere excavator, I would like to trade it in to get a Mini X. That's what I would like to do. Then we got this old Mack tanker. I like to get rid of it because we don't even use it. Hadn't used it since we got it. The Peterbilt dump truck, which is $319. I know I got it on the list, but that's something we might keep. This forklift, we don't even use it. You can't hardly run around outside. It's made for running on concrete. If you get outside with it, pick something up, you're gonna get stuck. I like to get rid of it. We got a box blade. Since I've been there, we never used it.
Box blade.
Yeah, it goes behind a farm tractor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if y'all want to keep it, that's fine.
If you're not using it, just
Is
curiosity.
that something, Matt, is that something you can use?
Thinking outside the box, you're wanting to trade the 200. Have you thought about, and it's just think about, have you thought about what they would give you a trade allowance on it and possibly put a minimum on it on your auction to see what would be your better option? Because, you know, generally on equipment, you can buy, if you're not trading, you can get a better deal than you can. And it's just a thought on my part. You say you want to trade it, that excavator 200.
Right.
Obviously, you know, it's John Deere, one of your better machines, I'm sure. Well, you're a cat man. I'm having to pick at you on that. And we got to forward the Dodge discussion last time. Now we're on cat and John Deere. Just a thought. Have you thought about possibly getting what they might allow you to trade on that excavator? And I'm just thinking outside, and maybe put a minimum on that one on the auction.
I mean, well, yeah, we can do that.
Because, like I said, that might give you might get a little bit more at auction than you would trade, and then you'd end up having more to apply toward your Mini X. And I think we had a discussion before. You had some other stuff coming off as soon as you got through with Stallings. There'll be some more equipment opportunities there.
That's right. We got this red tough line bumper pull harrow. Never been used. Just sitting down there. I mean, I like to auction it off, you know, get rid of it.
When was this purchased, just out of curiosity?
Before I got here.
Okay.
You talking about the harrow?
Well, just in general, like the hair and the other items that's never been used.
Well, this Ramex up here, we've used it before, but we hadn't used it in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Got another list.
18's not showing all that, but we're taking. He's reading off another list.
And then we got a yeller tar wagon that was, I heard it was drug out the bushes and fixed, and my guys, they don't even like to use it. There's something about the thing on it that's so heavy, and if you get on a slope with it, it's hard to use, you know, spraying out your tar and your 89s.
Right.
I like to get rid of it, and maybe possibly getting another one, you know, like the orange one we got later. Then we got this IT-28 loader, like the John Deere, like to trade it or whatever we get out of it, put on for a bigger loader for the zipper, you know, to use it, because we having to rent some, you know.
John, can we get a copy of that for the attachments for the meeting? We don't have the same list that you.
Well, I might not have the same list that Angie sent y'all.
Right.
And then I got the grade all on here.
But would it be okay to allow him and the chairman and administrator to talk about the trade stuff offline? We don't have that, so.
Yeah. I mean, especially if we're not using this equipment, I think it's, using your term, a no-brainer. Just go ahead and sell it and get rid of it. I mean, we listen, we trust you, we listen to your recommendations, and I mean, by working with our chairman and the county administrator, you guys, you know, come up with a decision. I'm sure the board will support it, especially it's going to bring revenue to public works as the county as well. So,
all right,
I'm full support of it.
Sure. Well, I need a motion for him to go forward with the sale.
I move that we go forward with the sale.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Oh, ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Lowe. Whenever y'all ready to get together, we can, I guess we'll go through, you gonna go through Benton or the government?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about this other list?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing.
We're taking your recommendation on
Combine all of them.
Yep.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You ready? All right, moving forward, award request for RFP for athletic field lighting. Mr. Cohen, I think this is yours.
Evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Y'all gave us permission about a month ago to go out for bid for lighting upgrades for 3 fields, McDaniel, Chapman, and Curtis, at the Highway 18 complex, which is now Morris Bank Sports Complex. And so we did so. We sent the bid packet out to around 8-9 vendors, contractors. We only had one that actually turned in a bid, Middle Georgia Outdoor Lighting. Diane Wade is someone who has been around Parks and Recreation in Jones County for many years, way before I got here. She knows the park very well. She knows the community very well. Her bid was $95,325. And with that being said, I make a recommendation that we award the bid to Middle Georgia Outdoor Lighting for to be paid for out of 2009's plus.
Any questions for Mr. Goins?
Just ask Matt, so how does this relate to possibly doing the walkways in the new area? And
so there's $180,000 in the 09's plus. We were going to take this 95 to do the lighting upgrade. Then we'll go back and me and Mr. Jason has got the person, I don't want to go too far because we hadn't actually awarded the bid for the asphalt, but we're in communication with the low bid person for the asphalt bid. They're willing to do a change order to reduce the amount of asphalt that we would use to mainly cover the main drag through the complex. John's people came out and did a test run covering about 150 feet, John? 200 feet?
Yeah, probably 200.
Close to 200 feet of chip seal, 8-foot wide walkway. We're testing it for about a month. We're about a week and a half into the testing to see how it holds up. So far, so good. If that continues on, then the plan is to have the asphalt company come in, first award the bid with the new change order, have them asphalt the main drive going through the complex as it was in the bid packet, and then have Public Works come in and do the finger walkways off of that with the chip seal.
Cool. And just out of curiosity, I know earlier this year we talked about that 180 and outdoor basketball courts on 49. Are the courts gone, not really happening, or what?
That's up to y'all, sir.
Okay. That means no. Okay.
So we're gonna go with asphalt walkways in the park. What are we gonna tear up the concretes now, or we're going with asphalt in the new section only?
The new section only.
Okay.
It would be, yes, sir.
Did we get prices on concrete?
We did.
To the top. One other question, Chairman. How many? I'm looking at the list that we sent it out to, and I don't see very many local. How many local vendors did we send it to?
Southeastern Site Services is right across the street here. So they're local. Graham Electric's out of Dublin. I'm not sure on where the others are.
Most of them are 706 or 704. I mean 678, 706, 704 area codes.
Miss Wade, she's local though, right?
Correct.
So a local vendor did.
I'm talking about the ones we sent it out to. I mean, there's only 1 or 2 locals, and we got 1 response. We got a lot of local electricians that can do field lighting. Matt, are we not doing the alternates? Or does that price include the alternates?
No, sir, we're not doing the alternates.
Okay.
Any more questions, comments?
Will these be wooden poles or just?
Yes, sir, there would be. And there's only a very few poles that have to be replaced because if you recall, about 3 years ago, we replaced a dozen, 13, 14 poles. And so there's only a few left to have to be replaced.
Okay. What is our schedule on this? Is this something that has to be done right now, or? And the reason I was just going to say, the reason I ask is, we got nothing to compare the price to with one bid.
I am disappointed we didn't get one bid. As much as we try to solicit, I'd love to see some people respond.
Right, and then to chime in on, it's kind of, I guess, somewhat disheartening too for Ms. Wade to go through the process of submitting the bid,
Sure.
and then the others choose not to. So we shouldn't punish someone for going through the effort of putting forth a bid package because nobody else took the time to do it. So they just to be taken into consideration as well.
Sure.
And I don't want to speak for Leslie, but if I'm not mistaken, she sent it out multiple times. If I'm not mistaken.
My concern is there's only, that I can see only two local vendors out of 10, 12. Why are we not sending it to more local contractors? I know of 4 in Macon that I would have assumed would be on the list.
I mean, we just kind of keep a running list of vendors that do different types of work. Graham Electric was there because I think they did the original installation. Middle Georgia Electric was on there because they had done some service work for us there before. And of course, we put it out on the website, put it on GLGA.org, and then it gets picked up by different services out there that put out bid information to contractors. So,
but we sent it to these 10, right?
We did, yeah.
I guess that's my question. How do we determine which 10 to send it to? Why would we send it to these 10 and not 4 more local ones? Or if we're just going to put it on the website and the state website, just put it on the website. And this is no reflection of our one bidder, because they've done a lot of work with us and done a great job and a great price. So I mean, I hope nobody thinks that it's anything to do with Middle Georgia Electric, because we've always been more than satisfied with the quality and the price we've gotten with them. Great company.
And I just didn't know who else to send it to.
Sure.
I mean, we sent it to people that we knew of that do this type of work, and I mean, maybe it's not as specialized as I thought, or but we just kind of pulled from, I think Southeast Site Services had bid on something, field lighting type work before, and so that's kind of how we arrived at the list. Whoever we know of that might be interested, we try to cast as wide a net as we can, and in some cases we know a lot more people to send it to, and then in other cases we don't know as many, and we just have to kind of rely on them looking at different bid websites and that kind of thing. And starting July 1, I think we have to put it on the Georgia Procurement Registry too. So everything we do will be on a statewide list of projects, and essentially we have that now with GOGA. But
so, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I would ask that the board, I mean, if you know of somebody that does electrical work, plumbing work, then make sure it gets to Jason and Shannon and Ms. Tyson, so that whenever we do that type work, they at least have the email address, especially if you know somebody that does it. So please make sure they're on the list, because I ran into a guy that does construction work. Got his information, I think I shared with Ms. Tyson, so that going forward, he'll at least have an opportunity, especially because I know he does that type work. So I think it's only fair on the board, it's part of our responsibility. If we know somebody that does that work, that does good quality work, to at least be considered and given an opportunity to put in a bid when something presents itself. So especially if you know 4 guys, I would please ask that we add them to our list, so we'll have it.
And a little bit of rebuttal of that, Commissioner, I didn't know who we'd send them out to until tonight. So
right. But I guess at the same time, it's just, if you know, being that we do that work, just make sure that everybody includes it.
That the lights are all 3-phase too, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
So that eliminates a lot of your local. There's not a lot. I know for a fact, there's not a lot of locals here that have 3-phase.
Okay. Yes.
Capacity. So that would.
Not some of
them. A lot of our local electricians aren't 3-phase licensed, so that would knock them out.
Mr. Chair, I move that we table the vote so we have an opportunity to resubmit for more local and even regional bidders.
We have a motion to table.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Oppose.
All right. I think it's only right we go forward, and like I said, one bid. I know they do us a good job at 3 and 2. Commissioner votes
3 and 2
in favor of tabling.
So are we tabling there, or are we
We're gonna table it.
rejecting and rebid?
And rebid, reach out. I know where the complication is in the three-phase service, which would eliminate a lot of the locals, but we still just one bid and that kind
So
of.
what do we
money.
do about the public number the number we've made public?
That's, I know it's happened before. I've been in their shoes before when I sat there and submitted a bid and it went back up. So, there's nothing we can do about it. It's public record. I mean, I know it don't sound fair, but I've been on that side of the podium before when I was low bid and it was rebid. So.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make it more fair though.
It didn't make it more fair. It just, still.
And I agree. This contractor has, done everything to submit the bid.
Sure.
They didn't know that nobody else was going to bid on it.
Exactly.
Right. It's just.
And I agree also with Sam, but, yeah, if anybody, anywhere, we need to be making these lists ahead of time.
Sure.
We know we're gonna have plumbing and wiring and everything going on, but this is very unfair to a local contractor.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, it may be that the motion to table is not in order. Is it a motion to table because then you bring it back up again at the next meeting? Or was the intent to not accept any bids and rebid?
What was the?
I will rescind that previous motion and move that we reject the current bid and go out for rebid.
Second.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
All right. 3-2 again. All
And
right.
Chairman, I will add that I think we do need to have a bidders list that would, all local bidders that, for the different functions. And that way we know that, because we're all, I think we all want to support locally as much as we can. And this is very unfortunate. I've seen the same thing you're talking about, and I don't like it a bit. But in fairness to the taxpayers that are paying this bill, one bid is not sufficient to show any. It's just not right to just get one bid.
I see the point, but this action tonight is going to discourage local bidders. And I wouldn't blame them.
Maybe going forward, we can maybe consider having something if we don't have 3 bids presented. I mean, it's, we've got a purchasing plan and, we've got to have something to compare. And I agree. I literally have been on that side of the table before and gotten beat. Mr. Lowe, I see you smiling. You got something you want to contribute?
Yeah, I've been handing out candy.
Oh, okay. You didn't pass it up here.
And Mr. Chair, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I did ask that we compile this list and look at local as well as Bibb County, Baldwin County, and even Houston County to expand our bidding pool when we were getting one-offs. That has not come to fruition. So I'm going to ask again, administrator, clerk, put that together. If we reach out to our neighbors and look at what Bibb County has, what Houston County, what Baldwin County, and even our locals, I think when we send out a list, that it should look something like this, and it should not just have 10 folks that are not even local, because I didn't see anybody local other than the person that bid it. And this isn't unprecedented in the county. We've done this before where we've gotten one bid and we've rejected it. So it's not personal.
I don't know our relationship as far as regional commission. Is that something that they can help with?
That, or just reach out to our surrounding counties and say, who have you gotten in the past to, I mean, that's been a great tool for me on different, I just reach out to our surrounding counties and say, we've got this project coming up, and who have you submitted packets to, and can we share, your information? And I mean, I've never had a county yet that come forward and submit, supplies for what we needed.
I think in talking with several of our surrounding counties, they've gone to something called vendor registry, and that's something I think it's a free tool that we can use, and vendors will actually have to go in there and register, but they'll sign up to receive certain types of bids, and as soon as we put the bids out there, they'll receive it. And so it's going to require a registration on their end to go in and put their information in, but after that they would receive information. I know several counties in the area have gone to that, and I think that the school board uses that here, and so that's probably something we'll look at moving to.
And we can have, we'll create a vendor registration. It's a simple form that he can put in on our website. And when people key in that data, it goes right into, our database that has that information. And again, it's just a simple data sheet. At the very least, the Chamber of Commerce has a number of businesses that are locally registered and they pay dues. We should definitely be able to send that out to our locals, at least through that format. And I'm sure we can make an arrangement to do that as well.
Sure. All right. We can go forward. Matt, you're up again for forward on awarding request for RFP for the, lightning strike.
Yes, sir.
Golf course irrigation.
Tonight I'm here to ask permission to repair the golf course irrigation. It was struck by lightning about a week and a half ago. We've been waiting to get the price estimate to have it repaired. The gentleman from John Steele, who does our irrigation through Jerry Pate Turf and Irrigation, came down, looked at it, gave it a once over, and his diagnosis is that it was struck, the pond was struck by lightning. Lightning came backwards into the system and burned up the VFD, which is the largest, and a couple of small components, but the largest ticket item is the VFD, which is variable frequency drive. And
happens every year.
Happens every year. It's like the second one. They're like $30,000 a pop.
Take it out
and my first response was, how come our system wasn't protected by our power surge lightning protector? And the fact that they came backwards through the pond is why it didn't. And so I'm now brainstorming with different electricians trying to figure out. As a matter of fact, I was talking with Tim earlier. He recommended we may need to get with an electrician to try to set up some type of, what do you call it, a grounding station?
Grounding grid.
Some type of grounding grid to stop this from happening moving forward. What I'm asking here tonight, we have another gentleman coming tomorrow to look at the system to give us an alternate price to look at it to repair it. What I'm here tonight to ask is that the price I have from Jerry Payton Turf and Irrigation is $11,545. I'm asking tonight is to give me permission to move forward to repair the pump to not exceed the current quote we have. If the other quote that comes in less, obviously we'll take it. If not, then we'll move forward with the quote that we do have so that we can get it up and running as quick as we can. We've been blessed that Mother Nature has been continuing to give us some water, but if we hit too much of a dry spell, then all the effort and work that we put into it will be wasted.
Any questions for Mr. Gowen?
Competitors only got to beat it by a penny now.
Well, he won't hear about it until after he.
I got you. It says funding source SPLOST. Does that we don't have anywhere else? I don't like taking repairs out of SPLOST. I don't think that's what it was intended for, but
I don't have it in my budget. I don't know if there's any in somewhere else, but.
If you don't have it in his budget, then we have to take it out of SPLOST.
Yeah, we did reach out today to some other sources. The gentleman coming tomorrow was from a local here in the county that I reached out to that could possibly help us, and he said he couldn't, but he knew if somebody could recommend. I think it's the gentleman who actually installed it originally. So
he's part of the company that originally installed it. Yes.
So we have reached out to some additional. Mr.
Levita was just back there signaling to me that we can't do a repair out of SPLOST. If it's a complete replacement.
If it's brand new, a replacement.
Yes.
But you cannot do a repair.
That's what I thought. So we got any impact fees?
Yeah, impact fees.
That's the only place we can get it from.
Are they talking? Do you have a good feel? Are they talking a complete replacement of the?
Yes, everything's fried, so it is a replacement of the system. Correct.
Okay, so if it's a new system, And nowhere states repair. It is a new system. You can take that out of SPOS. Or impact.
And how much is it? I don't see a price. How much is it?
I would say, let's see what our other gentleman, I mean, this repair, this other one gentleman could probably repair for a portion of the cost. And
Didn't you say the variable frequency drive is what's gone?
Correct, and it's both gentlemen I talked to said if that's the problem, there is no repairing it.
But you're just replacing a part of the system.
Well,
VFD of the system, not irrigation, not heads, not
correct.
lines.
It's the pump. It's the pump station. The pump basically is the pump station itself that has to.
Yeah, it's the main part of it.
Right.
It's still a repair.
Like part of it, but I think it's going to need to come out of impact fees.
Right. So get those numbers and get with Miss Crutchfield, and she can figure out where it's going to come from.
I think there's. Let me tell you. I think there's enough in there.
Okay. All right. We have a motion to give him the authority to go forward.
Make a motion to move forward with repairs or replacement to the irrigation system with the intent to figure out what's causing it every year.
It's human error.
Was that a second, Mr. Martin?
No, opposed.
A second.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-1.
Thank you.
All right. New business on number 6, veterinary service agreement with Dr. Barry Moore. Mr. Risner, I think you said you were going to handle this one.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, and John Jackson's here as well. He might want to chime in as well. You'll recall that previously we rented the facility from Dr. Moore where we had the animal shelter, and as part of our lease agreement there, he provided some veterinary services to the animals that were in the care of the Animal Services Department. Since we're no longer in this facility, that was kind of a consideration in that agreement. And so since we're no longer in the facility and paying rent there, he came to us and asked about drafting a new agreement. So I've worked with him on the language there. John and I have worked on it, and Frank has reviewed it. Basically, it just calls for us paying $75 a month for his veterinary services to cover his continuing education and that type of thing. We also pay for his DEA license because of some of the drugs that he has to buy for us to use. And then we pay him a certain amount for rabies vaccinations. And so that's all referenced in this agreement. At this point, I don't think we need a budget amendment or anything like that. We can cover it under John's budget for the remainder of this fiscal year, and we'll budget for it next year. So with that, I'll turn it over to John and say that my recommendation will be to approve the veterinary services agreement.
Sound like more than
Motion to approve.
I agree with his recommendation.
Second.
Any question for Mr. Jackson?
It was easy.
I'm so glad I could come up here.
We haven't seen you in a while.
All right, we have a motion and a second. No more discussion, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We just want to make you walk up here and look at that new shirt of yours. All right, thank you all very much. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for your cooperation.
Yes, you're very welcome, sir. Anytime I can help.
All right. Number 7, award bid for generator fuel tank for Massville Water Treatment Plant. Okay. Jeffrey was smart. He brought help.
Back when we started the Massville Water Treatment Plant as one of our cost-saving measures, we were using the county's existing 350 kW engine generator. We needed a fuel tank for that. We reached out to Stephen Elder with Cummins Power Generation. They recommended 3 manufacturers, Freeman Enclosures, Phoenix Products, and Fidelity Manufacturing. We've received calls back from Freeman Enclosures and Phoenix Products, and we recommend going with Phoenix Products in the amount of $15,274.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Ingram? None. I need a motion.
Motion to approve, Chairman.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? If none, Ms. Martin?
Yeah, you said Phoenix, right?
Phoenix products.
Even though it appears that they were higher, is there a reason? Was it the shipping cost that?
This the difference. Phoenix asked for the tank. Phoenix asked for the generator to, if they could pick it up and bring it to Jacksonville to make sure the tank fit and would mount it. Freeman wanted to ship us the tank and then let us mount it down here.
Okay.
According to Freeman and Phoenix, there's a particular difference in the way the tank is built when there's an enclosure on the generator.
Okay.
All right. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. We're on 8. We're on 2018-19 Public Defender's Office Budget, Georgia Engine Defense Services Agreement. Mr. Risner, I think you've got this one also.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I don't think John Bradley is here with us. John Bradley is the new Circuit Public Defender. But they submitted this request that you have in your packet. And we ran into this issue last year. They have a different fiscal year than the county's fiscal year. And so I believe theirs starts July 1, the state fiscal year. So they've submitted this budget proposal for you to consider. It's the same as the current year budget, and he states in the letter that they'll be refunding approximately $5,200 from the past year. And so the agreement there is in your packet. But my recommendation would be to approve their budget request, and we'll factor that in to the county's budget process.
Any question, Mr. Risner, on this?
No.
Doesn't entertain a
motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Move to number 9, budget amendment for Sheriff's Department. Chief Burnett talked with Butch, and he said he's out of gas.
I feel like a college student. I'm out of gas and I ain't got no computer money. We're out of gas money. And I went back and went through. Originally, when we done our budget request, I had cut it by $50,000, and then y'all cut it another $50,000. So y'all cut our gas money by $100,000. Now I keep a 10-year running total. I haven't been able to operate on that budget since 2009, except for when we had the one dip, but prices dropped for a little while in 16. Other than that, I haven't even come close to this 175. I need the 225. Otherwise, I'm looking about 45,000 over budget in operating.
So is that $225,000 a year for fuel?
Mm-hmm.
How many vehicles do we run?
We have 70. I have to figure out the exact amount.
Over 70?
Yes, and ours run 24/7. For the most part, there's always one running somewhere. But our fuel, which has come down from, and if you go back like to 2010, it was 187, 11 was 260, 12 was 264, 263, 282. So we've worked to come down, and then the fact that the gas prices in 16, they ranged from 161 to 273 is what we paid for it, which is the only year we've ever been able to operate under that. 17, they ranged from 223 to 339, and 18, they've ranged 261 to 346. So I don't see them going down, and we don't have any gas money.
So no high
and I
speed
don't
chases.
have it in another line item to move.
Motion to amend the sheriff's budget to
I mean, we're
provide
very
fuel?
proactive.
Sure.
We patrol, and we patrol a lot.
I think got a motion in a second, so it's just up to the board now.
Sure.
Chief Burnett.
And it's,
I don't know if we have any choice unless we're gonna park.
We're not parking in the sheriff's car.
You know, and not be protected, so.
is there any, I mean, we don't have anything we can move it from?
No, I went through and I set through our entire budget. The only place there's even a little bit of money is vehicle repair and maintenance. And, you know, we just lost the inmate that saved us that money because, and hopefully he stays out and does good. But now we've got to go back to carrying him all to the shop. All I can hope for is that nobody wrecks nothing in the next 2.5 months.
Or somebody else gets in trouble and do body work, transmission, motor like we had before.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have anywhere else to take it from. And like I say, I'm looking at a projected 40 to 45,000 over in operating.
And just out of curiosity, do we group purchase yet with like the Board of Ed or anybody else in terms of fuel costs? Yeah.
We go through Lakeside.
Okay.
How much storage capacity do we have? And do we buy it at the going rate? Is that?
Yes, we get it at the same rate. I mean, not what you get at the pump.
Right.
And, I mean, you know, we have our tanks and our pumps there.
Right. But each time we fill up, we buy it at that going rate, whatever our discount is per load.
Yeah, we don't even, we get the bill where it tells us how many gallons, and then we don't actually get the final what we pay for it until they send the bill to finance for each delivery.
Right. And back to Commissioner Martin's point, we did bring it up in our City County Board of Education meeting. Is that something that we could reach out maybe to Walthall and some of the other companies to determine if that's something we can do?
At least lock in for an annual cost.
Mm-hmm.
There's been times when people get in trouble with locking in at a 2 or 3 year deal, because if you lock in at 261 and it goes down to 161, you got a problem. But you know, I think the unknown of it fluctuating per fill up, tank fill up is hard to judge that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that and how many miles we're going to patrol, how long are they going to be sitting still if they're at a wreck, or are they patrolling the entire 8 hours, depending on the cause, that, I mean, we don't really have any control over. If you call us, we coming. And we're going to patrol and be proactive and try to keep the crime down in the neighborhoods and all when we're not on a call.
Just out of curiosity, do you know the average miles that a patrolman patrols daily?
Anywhere from 26 to 3100 a month.
About 100 miles a day.
In the county.
In the county.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. I tease them about going electric like Teslas. Still got acceleration, you know.
Can't keep up with a red Corvette though.
Can't keep up with a red Corvette. But no fuel costs, and with our Dodges, you know, the repair bills are just crazy on those. So the cost of ownership is outrageous. When you think of a Crown Vic,
if they had the Crown Vics, those were great.
Right.
We don't have them anymore, but that was our, you know, and we tried going with the Ford, and we done that 1 year, and that's been too costly, so we just went back to the Chargers.
Yeah, the electric, there's no maintenance, no tune-ups, no oil change, nothing. I had an electric car for 2 years, and all I did was charge it. So, just sidebar. It is what it is. Again, we motion, we second. I'm calling for the question.
All right. We have a motion and a second. No more discussion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? I mean, opposed. No opposed. No. I asked if anybody opposed. No. No, Chairman didn't oppose.
Said the sheriff is watching.
No, Butch, I didn't oppose.
He wouldn't give us any
I
gas
asked
money.
if anyone opposed. Question mark. He's at home laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why he sent you up here.
So, the amount, they're gonna amend it? Is that gonna do the 40 to 45, or?
But that was, she asked for 50, right?
To get us through the end of the year.
Yeah, okay. So I did a 50. All right.
So that's what we cut them during budget time was 50.
Because we had cut it 50, and then it was cut 50 again, so it was actually 100,000 less.
Sure.
And like I said, we haven't been able to operate that since
Worth a try.
2009.
We gave it a good shot.
We tried.
Right.
All right,
Worth a
great.
try. Well, and we said if we need to, we can come back and amend it. So that's where we're at now.
And if there's a shortage, just don't operate on Gray Highway. That'll help us out a good bit. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Is that the one you run the most on?
Oh my God.
You know, it's 65 now. They did that for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Not 165, 65. All right.
We're good.
We go forward to 10 on our new business. Is not ready at this time. We'll table it for the next meeting. Give Mr. Risner time to go forward. We have we're into old business. Sewer tap fee. Is there any new findings on it at this time?
I'll throw it to Jason. And
You'll throw him under the bus.
Well, I'll just let him.
We've searched here, and Frank searched in his office. We weren't able to find any agreements, I guess, from back when the system was transferred to us, or the system was first installed, that would necessarily be helpful in resolving the situation. I spoke with Mr. Price this afternoon, and the homeowner there, and he did say that they found a tap at one of his neighbor's houses. That neighbor is still on septic, but he said that could be common. He said that could be an anomaly. Not real sure. So, and beyond that, he hasn't sort of polled the neighbors to see what's in place there. I think in talking with him, his primary concern is that he was billed for sewer for a couple years, and we have since reimbursed that. He doesn't know if the previous owners were billed for sewer, and so his contention there is that that's a distinguishing factor, that you're not that you wouldn't be setting a precedent by waiving a portion of the tap for him, because he did have that history there, and he is amenable to the $1,750 amount, and so that was kind of the conversation with him. Tim Ingram is still back over there. Sorry to put you on the spot, Tim. But Tim is kind of familiar with some of this too, and he and I have talked some about it. I don't know if you might have anything you wanted to add, or sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Yeah.
This section of River North was designed and built around 1990, 1991. Part of his neighbors back up to the River Knoll pump station, so they're served by gravity. They have the option to be served by gravity. But the one thing we found in this area is that there are large expanses of exposed rock. His next door neighbor has an area probably the size of this room, creek runs through, is solid rock. And it appears the houses on that side of the road are all on low pressure force main. Whether or not one was stubbed out for him, I don't have any idea. And I don't know how many folks in that area are on low pressure, but it does appear the folks on River Knoll close to the station are on gravity to the station.
Won't he need a grinder pump also?
Yes.
That's another expenditure.
But that would all be on him. One other thing I did find out, Chairman, is talking with the maintenance guy over there that's been there for 30 years, 40 years. He said that when, as Tim was talking about, when they originally run that line through there, the intent at that time was to get everybody that was on septic tank onto a sewer, which is why they supplied the taps at that time, so that there wouldn't be a tap fee from the county. And knowing that, because I'm assuming that the Macon Water Authority is a capacity fee, not a tap fee.
Correct.
So my contention was, if there's 5 people on the street and they were all assuming and being charged for sewer, and there are 4 taps on the street, we just missed putting a tap in. And I just find it hard to charge. And I completely understand that if there are other situations where there's not a tap there and there should have been, I think this is going to be a one-off, because again, there's 5 houses and there's 4 taps, and some of them are on the sewer and some of them are still on septic with the intention of going to sewer. And so when he is the one that decides to go to sewer and I don't have a tap, that was my issue with it, that I don't think it's treating him fair. If everybody was under the assumption that he had a tap there and he was willing to tap into it, which is why I asked to waive our portion of the fee, because I feel like we either missed something or somehow it was missed, and we acknowledged missing it by charging him sewer fees for 2 years.
But it was also, he's also sold the house with that was on sewer and it was on septic. So there's an issue there that obviously when he bought the house, I think it's listed on, is it listed on our tax digest as sewer?
I haven't looked. I don't know. Have you looked too?
I'm not sure.
That was just what we were told.
Sure.
By him, by the homeowner. I hadn't verified it.
The construction plans for this area is a complete set. It's road, it's storm drainage, it's lot layouts, it's water sewer. So it appears all this area was built by a developer somewhere along the way. There may be a tap out there. They're not any taps are located on the plans at all. Most of the gravity sewer that comes out of the River Knoll pump station are not on any plans. How that was built, when it was put in, we really don't know. We just know it exists.
Tax assessor record does say he's on public sewer.
How does the board want to proceed with this?
I'm going to make a motion, Chairman, that we waive the county's $1,750 fee for a tap, even though he will still have to pay the Macon Water Authority side of it, and he'll be responsible for getting his sewer to the tap.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I would offer the friendly amendment. I am concerned about one-offs. So if we do this, then it's a precedent for everybody else. And my friendly amendment would be anyone else that should have been connected also is privileged to that same waiving, especially if that house is shown on our records as having public sewer.
Right.
But you're going to waive, you're not going to waive new construction. You're just not.
Right. Just for the folks who were there when it was ran, and they should have been.
So we need to amend your motion to address that?
Yeah, I'll make that amendment, Chairman.
Okay. Second. And you're seconded?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Martin, more discussion?
So the question is, how many other residents are, I guess, in that area that may get this discount?
Tim, you know how many are on River Knoll? That section of pipe?
There are 540 water customers in River Knoll, 460 sewer customers.
So that many could get a discount?
In the entire area, in the entire development, they would have access to sewer they're not paid, so they would pay for sewer.
But it would have.
In the River Knoll area, there are probably at least 5 or 6 right there in his neighborhood. That have access to it.
Right, and again, I think the issue is going to be how many of them were built under the assumption that they were on the sewer.
Right. So they would have had to have been billed, and it should have been in our records that they're public, on public sewer. If they were not billed and not on public sewer, then they're not eligible.
And they'll cover the cost of the tap. And okay, we have a motion to second. Any more discussion? None. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Ayes have it. Department heads. You'd like to go first, Mr. Graham?
Yes, sir. I have a few things. First things first, I wanted to give this to you. This was from the gas company.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget that.
I want to keep Sergeant Stephen Holloway from one of our personnel from Station 4 out of James. That was his son that was in the accident over in Milledgeville this weekend, where 2 of his cousins had passed away, children. One 15, one 8 years old, and then Stephen's son, Zach, is 11 years old. He's continued to be in PICU, in the medical center and the trauma center. They're going to do another surgery. He's actually got a couple broken legs, crushed pelvis, facial fractures, and but anyway, just keep in mind that this kid has went through a lot the last couple of days. Stephen Holloway is our personnel now. I had a message from Charles, and this was important. You know, when Charles speaks, I listen. I've never had a better employee. Now I've got plenty. I've got 157 employees that are with me. But I've got Charles has done some good work here for us. He's in training today to better his expertise as far as a safety compliance officer. He sent me a message this afternoon. It says, Don, I'm continuing to be in that class today, and I hope he's watching. I don't know if he is or not, but he says he wanted to remind everyone that is working for the county that we continue to set a safety record. As of today, we're still at 0 payout for workers' comp injuries this year. We've had 1 minor property damage that was taken care of. But Charles wanted to reiterate and to congratulate all of our employees for working safely and saving thousands of money, thousands of dollars for the taxpayers. In his final note to me, he said that, and I try to quote him, I don't like to say what other people say, but he says he believes that the safety culture for our employees here has finally turned in the right direction. So Charles is a good man, and he's a good safety man, and I am very fortunate to have met him, and I'm glad that he approached me for a job 7 or 8 years ago. So he's made a big difference, and I think we finally have gotten where we know what safety is, and this side that we do safety as fire rescue and industrial safety that we do to save our own lives. So kudos to Charles, and I hope he is listening in. The last thing that I've got here is that Storm Irma has finally come to an end. We've been working months after months with FEMA and GEMA. I had my last conference call last week with both FEMA and GEMA, which is the first time I've ever done that. They changed the rules and regulations and policies every new administration, just like the board does. So before they give you your check, we go right down the list again. So we've got category A, which is debris removal, which was a biggie for us. And we had category B, and Levita, it'll come in 2 checks, but it will equal $71,900. We were just shy of $72,000. So we will receive that check before the second week of July. And we were clear of all paperwork. Everything's in. We don't have to submit anymore. And thank goodness, and I hope we never have another disaster. But if we do, we are ready, and we stay in compliance. And I'm proud of paperwork that the chief put in. We've learned a lot off of each other, department heads that were involved in actually the category B, the emergency protective measures. We were all involved, and if you don't think that it matters, you got another thing coming, because it matters. Everything that we do in these disasters matters. And we spent a little money. but we got back 95% again. And that's being consistent. That's twice in 9 years that we've had a declaration and we've had a good return on. So I hope we can stay that way, and I hope we can stay safe, practice safe. And that's all I got tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Yes.
Moving on, department head. Mr. Jackson, you're sitting in the back.
Yes.
I'll let you go next. I'll work my way to the front.
Twice in one meeting, this is an honor.
You get to say something this time, too.
How do I want to word? I spoke with Mr. Risner earlier. Of course, it's obvious. Y'all seen the newspaper and seen what's going on. We've had a little bit of an uptick in rabies cases this year. We've actually shipped off, I think, 6 specimens for testing. The enforcement of the rabies vaccinations has basically been, if we get a stray dog in, somebody adopts it, they're required to get a rabies vaccine. That's just about it as far as the actual enforcement goes. What we're going to start doing, and this is the reason I'm up here, is to let y'all know that there's a couple of things that I'm going to start doing. They're already policy, but it's just been kind of lax, I guess. And so I got this all figured out now. What we're going to do is start enforcing the rabies laws. Basically, if we pick your dog up, you come to get it, you're going to get a ticket for rabies if it's not vaccinated. If you can't prove vaccination before the court date, then you pay the ticket. If you can prove vaccination before the court date, then we'll drop the ticket. It's an epidemic that's getting way out of hand. The other part of this is the stray population. If we see a dog, we're going to pick it up. Now, a lot of times we'll find a dog and we'll find the owner of the dog before we get back to the office, and we'll take it to their house and we'll let them know what the problem is in. But there's been a lot of situations, from what I'm understanding, that basically you kind of turn a blind eye because we stay full all the time, and to keep the euthanasia rate down, we don't bring it. But now the stray population is starting to get out of hand. So to give y'all a heads up of what's fixing to happen, we're going to start doing that, which is going to cause our population to go up inside the kennel, which is going to cause all the euthanasia rates and everything to go up also, which is going to cause y'all's phone to ring. So, but if we don't get a handle on it now, it's going to be so out of hand. In 2008, they picked up 2,000 animals. They put down 1,800. All right. Last year we picked up 900, and we put down, I want to say it was 18%, whatever 18% of 900 is. Huge difference. But the way the strays are picking up now, we'll be right back to where we was in 2008 if we don't get a handle on it now. So that's basically all I wanted to say. Just to let y'all know that's coming down the pipe. I was going to let Ms. Smith know we were going to kind of make an educational push, let everybody know, give them a chance to get right.
Sure.
Is that for cats too?
Presently, there's no ordinance on cats. We do pick them up. Now, the difference between a cat and a dog is if I stop and whistle and the dog comes to me, I can get him. I stop and whistle at a cat, he's going to call me stupid.
I'm talking about the rabies.
Yes, rabies is the same as cats and dogs, you know, so. But that's pretty much where we're at.
Well, thank you very much.
All righty.
Mr. Goins, you want to go next?
As long as it's only the cat calling, Snoopy is all right. Thank you again. Got a couple of things from the Wellness Committee. We got 2 items that we're looking to purchase with some grant money before the year is over. One is a Barrett desk. If you don't know what a Barrett desk is, it's a desk, computer stand that sits flat on your desk where it's about 4 inches off your normal desktop. So if you can imagine your computer, like Miss Margie's got, sitting about 4 inches off of your natural surface you have there. So you're sitting at your desk all day. And we talked to Brian Jackson. We're going to demo one of these in Brian Jackson's office. So if his ladies or whoever, his employees, get tired of sitting because they've been in there almost 8 hours, they stand up, the desk simply rises with them, and they're able to do their work from a standing position. So it helps with circulation, helps with boredness, keeps them more active throughout the day, so they're not just always sitting all day long. So it's, it's called a Veridesk. So we're looking at doing that, to demo it, see how they like it, see how it works, and possibly purchase more throughout different departments if it works out. The other thing is we're looking at purchasing 5 sunblock dispensers. We're going to hopefully put them in water department, public works, building maintenance, parks and rec, and what it'll be basically. We don't have one in here, but you see out there in the hallway, your hand sanitizer station. Well, instead of it dispensing sanitizer, it dispenses sunblock. And that will help with skin cancer, they're using their ears, neck, arms, whatnot. Hopefully that can help combat skin cancer moving forward with our employees. Talk with Angie about Public Works. They have a number of employees that bring sunblock to work with them. Hopefully this will, ease out a little bit of burden. They'll know they already have it provided through the wellness program. So just letting you know, those are some things we're looking at purchasing for our employees, trying to keep wellness moving forward. Also remind you about the ribbon cutting we have this Thursday night for the Special Needs Playground. I'm excited. It's just ready to go, and look forward to seeing y'all there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt.
Mr. Lowe?
I just like y'all to have Mr. Bobby Walker's family and prayer.
I will, absolutely. Yeah, I called Merv this morning and expressed our condolences.
That's all I have.
Sure. Mr. Pelkey?
Yes, we had a request to get some figures together for running a water main on Gray Highway south of Joycliff Road. And Tim has graciously put some numbers together for us.
And well, I can give y'all a heads up. We've had several calls on the Gray Highway, Joycliff Road about possible economic development, people interested in coming in. The only holdup has been fire protection. This is nothing new to this board. It goes back to, my understanding, all the way back to when Mr. Andrews was sitting on the board, where they had actually voted to run that line, to continue that line and finish it. It was never done. So I've had 3 calls now of interest of moving in that area with possible economic development. And I truly think the push is from our neighboring county, possibly going up on the taxes and helping us out a little bit, pushing this direction. So,
motion to approve.
we need economic development, and I asked Mr. Risner if he would get with Mr. Ingram as far as give us a possible cost and what we can look at to see if we can make this happen and finish what's already been started.
We looked at extending a 12-inch line down from where the 8 on Joycliff Road crosses Gray Highway. The better side to run it is there in front of TEC, Reeves Construction, which is where all the development is. And then we would take an 8-inch line across at the old gas station, and that is SEC, I believe is the business that's there now. There are 2 businesses there and 4 residential houses that are served off of a single well. So there would be about 6 connections to it if the line was ran, or possible connections, and then whatever development comes.
And give you a heads up, we've actually got a little over 100 acres sitting there now, and if I'm not mistaken, it's under industrial zoning. Tim, does that sound right?
I believe that's correct.
And so we've got 100 acres sitting there right on Gray Highway, along with several empty parcels that could also be served off of this. And with any economic development project, you don't know who's looking, but there has been inquiries, and that's been looks like the only issue they've asked for is fire protection, and which we don't have.
How much?
193. To run 12 and put fire hydrants out. Fire hydrants fit about every 1,000. Where we bored the road to the far side, there'd be a fire hydrant set.
There'll be 6 taps automatically off that well would be the east side of 129, and I haven't confirmed the number of taps on the west side. So just to give you an idea, I know there's 6, and all 6 are running off a single well right now that's not supplying what they need.
For some reason, and help me with this, when we ran the line out here when they were doing the bypass, that seems so much cheaper. Is it because we're going under the road that this one seems way higher?
That material costs are a good bit different.
Okay.
If you ran this line in October, material costs may be $3 or $4 a foot cheaper. It's all, it's all derivative of oil and what oil's doing and where oil's at and demand. That's, you talked about earlier bidding on the lights. We're having the same problem finding people to bid, because right now they can't find workers. They're full, they're busy. In the materials, the steel tariffs drove metal pricing up 20 and 30%. Even before they went in, we saw those increases. Back then, power hydrant was $1,500. Power hydrant assembly today is $2,800. Doesn't matter who's you buy.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Any questions for Mr. Ingram?
And I guess, would you recommend we just take it from SPLOST, or how would you fund the project?
I guess that would be a fact-finding mission at this point, because
Okay.
I wanted to bring it before the board, because we have had some inquiries about it. And
so, Mr. I would ask that if Jason, Gil, Levita, and Mr. Pelkey, if they can come with some recommendations to put on our agenda for our next meeting, because we missed an opportunity months ago, and I would hate to see us miss another opportunity, especially when we feel confident, that somebody may come if we meet some of those basic requirements.
all right. I don't think we need to go to motion, just a consensus of the board. Thank you, Mr. Pepper.
Thank you.
Mr. Risner?
I have one that I've volunteered to do for someone else. So
okay,
I'm gonna do my best Will Hart impersonation here and talk to you about an IT issue. Some months back, the board talked about providing internet service at the old Matty Wells gym. And at that time, the board indicated that they wanted to go with Cox, and because of quality of the service. And so my understanding is that Will went back to Cox to initiate the service request, and so they got to looking and found that there was a lot more construction. I'm not trying to talk like him or anything.
Yeah, you don't sound nothing like him.
So they found that there was a lot more involved with the construction than they realized when they provided the initial price. The initial price they provided was $124 a month with a 3-month agreement, a 3-year agreement. So now they've come back and said for the same service, it'd be $164.99 a month, $100 install fee, which is consistent with the others, but it would be a 5-year agreement. And so Will and I weren't certain that the board would want to commit for that length of time, or if the board could legally commit for that length of time without some sort of non-appropriation clause, I guess, in the agreement. And I don't know that Cox would be willing to do something like that. The other proposal that we received initially was from AT&T, certainly a slower service, but it was $40 a month with a $99 install fee, and they said they could have installation complete within a week. It would also take 6 to 8 weeks to install on the Cox deal, even if you wanted to go forward with the 5-year agreement there. So just kind of wanted to get direction from the board. Do you want to go ahead and sign up for the 5-year term with Cox, or would you prefer to go with the AT&T that doesn't have the lengthy term and is less expensive, but certainly a slower internet service?
We're at 40 versus 164.
The harsh reality is DSL versus Cox. Any service agreement that we do, no matter how far the length is, it is what it is. It's Cox. I can't imagine putting a recreation facility on a DSL. I had DSL at my house because my driveway is 300 yards and it's AT&T. I have three teenagers and a 7-year-old at the house. I couldn't even log on to the internet. I had to boot kids off so I could have access. And if we're talking about putting a recreation facility on it where kids could possibly participate in it, which is the driving force, but anything that we tried to do, if it was community-based or we tried to stream out of that facility on DSL, it's not realistic. It costs a little bit more to do Cox. It is what it is. For $164 a month, that's a small price to pay for community access and a facility that's current. I can't imagine us putting DSL anywhere. Do we even have a facility in the county that's on DSL? That's like stepping back in time. 5-year agreement, I mean, it's Cox Cable. Again, it's an agreement. Whether we go year to year, 10 years from now, we'll still be on Cox. It doesn't matter what entity we are, whether it's Public Works, Water Department, or Jones County Parks and Rec. So,
any more discussion? Thoughts?
Just out of curiosity, and I think we already went down this road. What does the Board of Education use? Just out of curiosity.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'd have to check and see.
Would it be worth at least asking them to see what they have before we pull the trigger?
I'm confident they don't have DSL.
Okay. No. Just out of curiosity, what were they doing? And could it be anything cheap? And if not, then I'm fine with it. Yeah. I'm just curious.
Yeah, whole school on DSL.
No. So.
What we want to do?
Hey, I'm fine. I mean, you're investing in the kids, so.
We need to have this as an agenda item on the next meeting to go forward, or can we do it now?
It's up to the board. If somebody wants to make a motion, you can do it, or if you want to discuss it a little further, just.
It's up to the board if you want to.
I would motion that we enter the agreement with Cox and install internet service.
We have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Aye. That's all I have. Mr. Redner, anybody else? Okay. Citizens, any citizen like to come forward tonight? Okay. Citizens, would you like to come forward tonight and speak?
Yes. My name is Johnny Allston, better known as Bub to a lot of y'all. But I live on Joycliff Circle, and there's several of my neighbors here tonight. If you want to raise your hand, fine. We have a little problem out on our street, and planning and zoning is involved in it. I talked to Tim this week. He has found that the guy is not in compliance with the building permit that he has. He's expanding the facility, but I don't want to bore y'all with this tonight. I'm strictly here to tell you that we are getting a petition together to take before planning and zoning to look back at this individual and what he plans to do at his home or homes. Start off with one, he's got two. He start off with 5 bathrooms, 3 kitchens, and Mr. Witkowski found out he's got 3 kitchens and 5 bathrooms. And please do what you can do. Look at the petition that we send to you, and I'm sure Tim will keep y'all abreast of everything that he's got going on. And as soon as we can expedite this, because this guy moves mighty fast in anything he does. So if y'all will, please help us on this.
Sure.
If anybody else wants to say anything from it.
I'm sure Mr. Witkowski got it under control. If he sees something that's not right, he'll be the first one to put a stop to it.
Just out of curiosity, can we issue a cease and desist if they're out of compliance with the permit?
Mr. Witkowski, can you come up and answer that?
And we're talking about the new house on the right-hand side, right? That one? Okay. He's not paid some employees too. I've gotten wind of that.
Typically what I do is I just notify them of the violation required be corrected. I would put a stop work order on the job if I can't get compliance at that point.
So if the initial request, did it have 1 kitchen in it the first time or?
It has not been permitted for having multiple kitchens. What he did was he acquired a building permit for, I'm just gonna make up numbers, I don't remember. Let's say he acquired a building permit for a 3,000 square foot house. Then he came back and acquired a second building permit for an addition to that home, which was a garage with dwelling area above it. And then he came back and acquired a third permit for another maybe 600 square feet for another addition onto the home to create a handicapped accessible suite. A tax assessor notified me. They asked us last week, what's going on with this house? We see 3 kitchens in it, and we're worried that what's being permitted here is a multifamily dwelling. And I told them, no, area single family can only be a single family dwelling. At that time, I went out, looked, did find what appears to be roughed in 3 kitchens, told the owner that they would need to remove the plumbing for 2 of the kitchens. Am I talking too much?
No, you're doing fine, absolutely.
What constitutes a dwelling is totally separate housekeeping facilities. So single family area, we don't limit the size, we don't limit the number of bathrooms, we don't limit the number of kitchens you can have in a house. What triggers it is when you create total separation, and now I can go up in the top of this garage and I don't have to interact with the family because I've got a bathroom, I've got a kitchen, I've got a bedroom, I've got living area. So now you've got an apartment up there, and that constitutes a violation of both the zoning regulations and the building code. It becomes a multifamily dwelling or a duplex at that point. So one of those components has got to go away. Get rid of the kitchen, get rid of the bedrooms, get rid of the bathroom, something that causes communication to take place between this part of the house and that part of the house. For me, typically the easiest component is the kitchen. Get rid of the kitchen. And so I've told him, kitchen's got to go. And he goes, well, I just want to do a wet sink up there. Or I've got this other need over here. It's not a kitchen, it's going to be something else. And so I'm going back and forth with him on that right now, but I'm pretty entrenched that the kitchen's got to go.
All right. Any questions from Mr. Petrowski?
Back to a cease and desist, but it sounds like you're on it. So if it gets to that point, you have that authority, I assume.
Yeah, we can put a stop work order on the job.
Fair enough.
All right. Thank you for coming tonight.
Sure.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Jim, I appreciate
Thank you. Any more citizens like to come forward? Now, who'd like to start tonight on Commissioner's comment? Kitchen, you want to
I'll
start?
start. Yep. I just want to congratulate all the employees on a safe work environment, safe workforce. Like Charles was talking about, that's a pretty good feat that we should be proud of this entire year, not having any lost time accidents. The other thing is that people that have been involved with FEMA regulations, Category B, protective measures, and all the requirements that go along with it. Hats off to our departments that are keeping up with this, because it's a direct reflection of how much money you get back, because FEMA doesn't care who you are, what you are. If you don't have your documentation in order, they just click it off. Nope, 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 nope. So that's hats off to our folks that are documenting, and it's showing in the money we get. But 95% of return is A++. So thank y'all.
Mr. Pitt.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank the employees for everything they do, especially this culture of safety, and I hope we can work towards creating the same culture when it comes to wellness, because both of those are some great savers when it comes to the county, as well as being a healthy employee makes you more productive, and just overall just a great place to be. I want to make sure that we invite the public as well as the Board of Education, the city, to the ribbon cutting that's on Thursday, and appreciate all the support was given from the community towards that project. And last week or the week before last, had a group come in from George Washington University and did a study on our healthy community. And it kind of goes back, it's kind of interesting about health and wellness. Of the 159 counties in Georgia, Jones County is in like the top 25. So it goes to show we live in a healthy community, and it's something to be proud of. So I hope we continue to work on, continue to staying healthy, continue to staying safe, and it'll be interesting to see what the report says as we continue to be a live healthy Jones community. So that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Sounds great. Thank you. Commissioner Robinson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Whether you work in an office or whether you work in the heat, safety is extremely important for your well-being. It's good to hear the record numbers that are being set, and that lets us know that everybody's going home with all the fingers and toes and healthy also. you're doing a wonderful job working safe, and please keep up the good work. Jones County is proud of all of you. You're not employees of this board, you're employees of Jones County, and you make Jones County proud. Thank you.
Amen. Commissioner Martin?
Again, echoing what everybody else said, I'm happy that the employees are healthy. At the end of the day, that translates into dollars that we get to save. Mod rates go down, our costs go down, and hopefully that means we can return that back to you by improving the quality of plans that we have for you, by reinvesting into you, and hopefully offering raises if resources are available. I am concerned about the allocation of resources. I know we had impact fees, we had splosh money. District 4 doesn't ask for much. Outdoor basketball courts are a small item. I see a bunch of dollars going everywhere else, and we talked about this. It's going to be difficult for me to support other items across the county when we can't get some minor resources in. The gym is doing well. Basketball play is up. And we have an opportunity to do some outdoor basketball courts other than just driving up to Gray for the one court that we have, and the one that's in Haddock. Again, allocate those resources equitably. To the sheriff, if he's watching, strongly consider Teslas. No maintenance. I see the maintenance and repair budget. It scares the heck out of me, even on the public works side. The Model 3s are reasonably affordable, and I'm sure Elon would be happy to come up with a sheriff mobile. It would be a challenge for him. But fuel costs, folks, if we don't address fossil fuels and sustainability, we know those are our largest expenses, maintenance and fuel across the board. It might be a tussle as to who gets that car or the first two, but it'd be worth it. We have an opportunity to do surplus. I'm glad that we're finally getting rid of some of this stuff that has predated John. I would encourage other departments to do the same and look across for sharing like we talked about in the past. Any of those items that we can return to service, great, but if we can sell them and do something else with it, we should be doing those things. It's a no-brainer with land and houses. We carry people on the tax rolls for a long time, and we're all guilty of paying a bill or two late, but when it goes on 8, 9, 10 years and we can't do anything with that property, that's unacceptable. I'm happy that our tax commissioner is looking at those things, and I wish we had a land bank that we can also put some of these properties in for economic development or some other needs. Speaking of economic development, it's no-brainer. Those are the only ways we're going to reduce taxes, folks. So while it may seem like a lot of money to put a water line in, if it means jobs, if it means taxable inventory and payroll, those are opportunities for us to make money other than rooftops. So keep up the good work. And Mr. Chair, EMA Director, if we have the ability to do fundraising for Mr. Holloway and his family, I think we should do that. Let's figure that out.
We've got some on tap already.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we've already had a citizen's comments. This time I need a motion to adjourn to go into executive session for land acquisition only personnel.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you.